Renfro. Hello guys, how you doing? This is George Gaspar, real estate agent here in Southern California. And as I told you, here it is, our first episode, and I'm here with my best friend Jason. I'm lucky enough to meet him back in 2014?
Was 2014.
It was 2014, and we have a long story. Him and his family helped me a lot here, and I will make it very short, very quick, and I will jump on the questions already. Jason, so I want to ask you one thing. How did you first get in contact with home ownership?
So the first time I got in, I guess the first time I experienced with home ownership is with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
So my family is pretty big at like buying properties, renting them out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like in the family,
Mm-hmm.
starting with going back to my grandparents, my grandfather, my grandmother. They really were like big on buying properties, renting them out. So that's always
Very
been
nice.
like a family, if you say legacy of passing on to the next generation, the knowledge and the wisdom.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah.
And how was the first time that you bought your first home? Because you knew with your family, how was, I was lucky enough to be close to him, but as a person, how you experienced your first home? How was it stressful? Was it smooth?
Yeah, first home was really stressful because the amount of paperwork you're dealing with, and then the information they're asking from you is like you're just opening up your whole life.
Correct.
So it's kind of like, they want to know everything about you, bills, how much you get, how much you make, the W-9s or 1099s if you're a contractor, or should I say, I think it's a W-4. W-4, 1099. So just, a lot of personal information, how much money you have, all your bank account information, all your statements on what you, so it's just a lot of paperwork, and they ask for it multiple times. Your credit report. So it's just really exposing everything about you. So it was stressful. I think I talked to you a couple of times about, hey, is this going to happen? Because, they question you so much, and you're just wondering, is something wrong?
And the worst part, I believe, is they ask you stuff and they keep quiet.
Right.
And they don't give you an answer at all.
Right.
But that is the part that I wanted to get and said, how you keep motivating. How you said, okay, it's going to work out.
Right.
It's going to be fine. And also, your real estate also is our friend too.
Right.
Could help you out. How was it?
Right. So luckily for me, I have friends and family who always talk positive.
Correct.
So like, I know my grandmother, I would have talks with her at night about, how is the process looking, when you did this, and how did you feel? So it's always good to have somebody to talk to about how you're feeling, especially a close friend. Like, I would talk to you, Andrew Park, and we would just talk about the process and what it really takes, and is this normal or is this not normal?
Yeah.
So that really kept me kind of like less stressed, because it's a stressful process.
It is.
But having someone to talk to, like if it's your realtor, or just someone who knows information about how the housing market works and how buying a home works, especially as a first-time buyer.
Big time.
When you don't know. Second time it was like, oh, okay, you kind of know. But first time it's stressful.
See what he said. It's very important to have positive persons, positive people be around him, and a professional working with him. Now, he bought his first home 5 years ago.
Yeah, like 2015. So I think we started the process summer 2015, and didn't move in until early 2016.
And it was a new construction.
Right.
One of the best neighborhoods here in Brea. Is a beautiful, beautiful place. And it's funny to say that, because all of that stress and that was worthy, and now we are sitting literally on his second home. And I want to ask you how it is to from your first home to a second home in the middle of the pandemic.
Right.
When people was screaming and buying paper towels, this guy was in escrow. How was it?
So second home, it was tougher because there wasn't that much on the market, and then so it's a competitive market for people who are buying.
Correct.
If you want to sell your home, like when we sold our first home,
That was
selling
quick.
it was quick. I think it was within the week.
That was quick.
Right. So, and you know, with us, it wasn't a lot in our neighborhood that was selling. So we thought, oh, this would be a great time for us to sell.
Yes, yes.
But then buying, we were like, okay, so like we need to be, you know, we were trying to move in or move out of our current home to move in like immediately. So it's like a, you know, same kind of, you know, just being in one place or being out of one place in one place within the same amount of time.
And that transition shortening your contingency basically. Right. Yeah, it was really quick.
Right. So so it was easier buying the second home mentally, just because we kind of knew what they were going to expect from us. And then at that point, you know, I had like you to talk to because you were in real estate school. I had Andrew to talk to, parents, and then just from the previous experience, it was actually easier because the first home was a new build, so they really make sure you're clean because they don't want you to lose a home.
That is so true.
Right. The second time around, this home I think was built in 2014, so it was like it wasn't a new build.
Correct.
So the process was just a little faster, a little bit faster than what I expected. So it was like.
It also was because of your second time too.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of knew, okay, they're gonna ask for this, they're gonna ask for that. So I was already ready with those documents.
Exactly. Right. So basically, that's when sometimes the first time is always in everything. It's the first time dating, first time marriage, first time whatever can be a little bit more difficult. But the second time, you can see it was quick. I remember talking to him in 1 week. In the next, 2 months, you're already in a new home.
Right.
And I was helping him moving and stuff.
Right.
So, geez, that was
like quick. Right.
I want to ask you, what is your, tell me a little bit more, because I really like the story of your grandmother.
So
how was your grandmother? Basically, she was basically the foundation of ownership.
Right.
For how was it?
So with my grandmother, because her and my grandfather, my grandfather, they used to live in Miami, Florida. That's where they grew up. So my grandfather used to do property management for all these different buildings. So, you know, it's kind of like that. You know, he started with his experience and knowing, this is how you manage properties.
Correct.
This is how you buy them, rent them out, and then you start getting a positive cash flow over the years when the buildings start getting paid off.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, they just took that experience when they moved to California and they said, okay, we're going to start buying properties and we'll rent them out. And sure enough, that's what they started doing. Wow. So, you know, and then they just keep passing on that legacy, like to my parents. You know, my mom bought her first home when I was young, and they helped her. And then my mom helped me. So, you know, it's just a family. Yeah, and then I'm going to help my daughter. Actually, I'm looking forward to helping my daughter buy her first home. It's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun, definitely. Can you imagine, you know, moving your daughter to your home?
Right. I mean, we'll see what homes look like then.
Right? Everything's moving. Everything. You can imagine the decoration, how it's going to be.
Yeah, they'll probably have all screen walls.
They're going to change the atmosphere and everything.
Right.
That is fun. My finishing almost, I want to ask you, what is your advice for somebody that is like on the fence? Maybe they're renting or maybe they're living with their parents and literally they want to own, but they don't know how to do it. Because that was me 2 years ago.
Right.
And thanks to you and Andrew, mainly you, that was very constantly with you. Actually, I used to live with him and his family. They opened the door. It's such a blessing for me. But so you taught me so many stuff. I know that it's hard to say in like a couple of seconds. Right. But what do you say to that person? So
for if you're trying to buy a home and you're kind of on the fence about it, I recommend there's like a saying where they say the best time to get into the market to buy a home is like right now. And not meaning right now based on where we are, but right now as far as no matter what time the market looks like, the ups, the downs.
Yes.
Only because if you wait and wait and wait, property values are still going up, especially in California.
Big time.
So I think the average growth per year is 3%.
Yes.
So it's like
the highest on almost the whole
right,
country.
Yeah. So even if you're say like, oh, you know what, we think the market's gonna drop, because you know we thought the market was gonna drop with COVID.
Everybody.
It hasn't dropped. It's going up still.
And it's so funny because so many industries dropped, but real estate is like on fire.
Yeah, it's still really competitive right now.
Yeah.
So the best time to get into the market is right now. Like, don't wait, don't delay, don't think, oh, well, right now the market is high, it's hot, I'm gonna wait for it to cool off. No, because even when it cools off, it's still gonna be higher. And even if you buy, let's just say, when the market drops, it over time, over the long run, you're still gonna come out being a winner.
Exactly.
So if you buy high or low, like technically, me and Pearl bought when the market was high.
And you bought it with your APR low, right?
Yeah, we bought under, I think it was like a 3.6.
That's one of the lowest APRs ever. Mine was like 4 point something.
Yeah.
It is out of control. So I know that it looks like a crazy time, but not only the pandemic, but it can be any other time. As you said, it's now.
Right.
And let it properly appreciate
right.
later on.
And now for our first home was 3.6%. This home was 2.8. So really right now, I mean, only because you're looking at a 30-year, or even a 15-year loan, whichever one you want to do, the rates are so low that you're not going to see those rates again. So it's like, just get in the market now, and your property is going to keep going up.
Yes. And this is for the buyer. And what do you say to the seller that you sold your home in a week?
Right.
What do you tell the person?
Oh, for the seller, if you're thinking about moving, don't move now.
You're gonna get the money. He's probably was sold how much more above the listing price?
So I think it was, well, at the time I think it was, they were saying my home should be selling for about 680, and it sold for 710. Yeah.
30,000.
Yeah, and we had like 3 offers. Some of them full cash, some half cash. So there were some serious people coming, and it was within a week.
I just want to say this because I heard from him. The buyer wants to move in like this.
Yeah.
I never saw.
Yeah, they were trying to say, oh, can we move up the day? We're like, no, we're not ready.
But this is because him and his wife make the decorations. If I show you the house, it looks like a stage house. I can literally make a stage house right here because it's so nice. The way they decorate, and it's at the same time so comfortable. So whatever come and see the house for sale says, shoot, you can leave everything.
Yeah. Yeah, they were asking, are you going to leave this? We're like, no, we're not leaving that. So, it's always good to have your house nice and cleaned up before you start showing it.
Well, Jason, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for your busy agenda. Right. And there was one last thing that I wanted to say is, how do you feel building a legacy for you're gonna be the grandfather,
right? That
your grandkids gonna say, because my dad bought those properties.
Right.
How do you feel about that?
It's a good feeling because I know there's times even now I sit back and I think, wow, like my grandparents started this.
Yes.
So like these walls I'm looking at. There's dollars that have trickled down from my grandparents to my parents, now to me. So really, like, I'm touching what they envisioned.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And it's like you don't want to take it for granted. So, and it's like I think, man, it's gonna be a moment where I'm the grandfather, and I'm looking at my grandchildren thinking, I'm so proud of you guys. And this is only because my grandparents did this.
That is so true.
So it's just a generation, and this is how generation wealth is built.
Yeah, that's how. But unfortunately, many as 2 Black African American guys, unfortunately, our community is the lowest in home ownership. It doesn't mean that we have to compete with nobody. It just means that we have to build wealth for our future. So it's very important. Jason, I thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right.
This is Jason Renfro. This is George Gaspar here, and I thank you. See you next episode. Thank you.